All right, you guys, welcome back. We've got a big day today because we are completing not just one, but two projects that we started last time. So we should have two pieces of paper ready to go. One that is painted with the tint of whichever color you chose to use. So you can see that that's mine. I used a turquoise and then I added the white to it to make the tint, and the whole background is painted like that. And then my other one is the same color, but we went all the way from the tint down to the shade in an ombre effect. Now, if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't have those things, you're going to want to pop back to the last slide with the video and make sure that you're doing this first, okay? So, project 1 of 2, continuing our Into the Woods theme, we are going to have to make first a shade of this color that we started with last time. So I'm using turquoise for mine. And of course, when we do any color mixing, we always want to start with the lighter color first. So obviously, the lighter color is always going to be whatever color you actually chose, because black is the most powerful of all, isn't it? So I put my turquoise in there, put that cap back on. We don't want to make a mess all over. And then next is going to be my black. I actually already have a little bit of black in my palette ready to go. So I'm just going to clean off my brush, go over here on the side, getting that all nice and cleaned up. And I'm going to take just a tiny bit of the black, like that, on my brush, and mix it on in with my turquoise. And don't worry, this paint underneath is all dry. I'll wash it all up this weekend. I'd be washing these all the time if I did it after every single video in class. So we just save it for the weekend, and then I have fun peeling it off. It's kind of like when you peel glue off your fingers after it's dried. It's kind of like that. It's satisfying, right? So with this shade that we just created, we're going to paint upward strokes, and we're going to do between 4 and 7 upward strokes just like this. Okay? Maybe there's another one kind of tiny back there. Notice how sometimes I'm turning my paintbrush so it's the widest way possible, and sometimes I'm turning it almost like sideways to get some of those skinnier ones. So I've got 4 so far. I could stop there, or if I wanted to, I could add in another one. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anywhere between 4 and 7 works out well. So these are going to be our trees. Now, if you want to, you could even go in and add some little like stubs of tree branches to any of these, but that's optional. You don't have to do that part if you don't want to. But you could do something like that, okay, just to make them look a little bit more like trees. Now, we've got to do some shadows on our trees. So we're going to be making a tone in order to do the shadows. As a reminder, our tone is our color plus gray. So we're going to have to mix a gray first, aren't we? Because we didn't have gray come in our art kit. So we're starting off with our white. Once again, we're going to add a bit of black to it. Do I have enough, or do I need to get some more out? Let's find out. Time shall tell. Might have enough. Might not. Let's see. Scoop a little bit more black in there. Mixing my black and my white to make a gray. Like that. I might want it a little darker. Let's see if I can get some more black in there. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. So I've got my gray now, and of course I need to add my color. Whatever color you've chosen gets added to your gray. And close that cap always. We don't want to make a mess. Otherwise you're not going to be allowed to be an art club anymore, right? We want to keep you in it. Here we go, mixing that all up to make my tone. Might even add, I have some from over there too. I'll add that all in. Mix that on up. So this is going to become our shadows for the trees. The tone is. So I'm going to start, clear off my paintbrush a little bit. Getting a little sloppy there. I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to meet my tone with the bottom of the shade, and then I'm going to bring it out on a diagonal to make the shadow of the tree. And I'm going to just keep doing that for all of my trees here. So once again, the tone should meet the shade, and then just kind of go at an angle. Now, what about things like this, though? Because look at that. If I keep going, it's going to go right over the top of that tree. So if you run into areas like this as well, what you're going to do is when it hits that tree in front of it, you'll just stop it right there, and then kind of imagine where would that pick up. Okay, it would pick up kind of around here. And there we go. And we'll get it for these last couple of trees as well. And the thicker the tree is, the thicker its shadow should be as well. And you can take more time than this and make it look really nice if you want to. But I'm just kind of going fast for our video. All right, so once you've got those shadows all in there, we're actually going to flip our paintbrush around. We don't do this too often, but we're going to use this side because we want to have a little woodland creature in here. Cute little fox or maybe a badger or an owl walking through the woods. So maybe it was walking from over here. So notice I've got the paint on this side now, and I dipped it on in to the paint over here and just making little track marks. Maybe it goes through the shadow and it comes right over here. All right, so we've got some little track marks. I'm going to set this aside now and allow this to dry. But if you, or whenever you choose to, I'm going to set this up there. You can then go ahead and add in any sort of woodland creature that you'd like to. Maybe it's a fox, a badger, an owl, a white-tailed deer. So have fun adding some kind of woodland creature into your beautiful wooded scene. Okay, so that's project number 1. If you need more time to complete this, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, and you can rewind or whatever you need to do. I'm going to set that off to the side though to get ready for project number 2 from yesterday. So now we're pulling out that beautiful ombre piece of paper, and what are we doing with it? Well, let me show you. We're going to turn this into beautiful feathers. Okay, you can probably fit 2 of them on the piece of paper, maybe even more depending on the size that you do it, and you can do them both in the same direction like this or in opposite directions like that. But feel free, if you want some inspiration as you're drawing your feathers, feel free to go into our slides and go back to this one. You can kind of take a look at the one that we've got as an example. So definitely feel free to use our slides for that if you want. But I will draw one along with you guys right now. So I'm going to start down here and kind of get that center bit of my feather, and then those soft down portions down at the bottom of it, and then my feather's going to come on up. And they usually have those little splits, right? Like feathers never are really quite perfect. They usually have little splits in them like that. And then I'll come back down. Maybe there's another split over here. Come back down, and maybe another big split down there before it comes back and meets here. So it could be something like that. Then you're going to go ahead and cut that on out. So once again, if you need to pause the video to take the time to cut it out, you totally can. And it's going to end up being something like this that we now get to put our own designs onto. I'm going to just turn this paper around so it's a little easier to see the feather itself. My background has gotten quite messy during our painting this week, hasn't it? So I'm going to now just start drawing in maybe different lines and shapes. And there is no right or wrong here. So just kind of have fun. Maybe I'll do a little spiral on in here. And we draw some little dots going around that spiral. And some circular portions coming around like that. Maybe this circle has some zigzags in it. So we're just going to kind of have some fun here with how we want that to look, adding in different shapes and designs. If you want help with some different design ideas, you can definitely look at the feather in the slides. You could also look up the word Zentangle, Zentangle. And there's all kinds of beautiful patterns when we look up the word Zentangle. So feel free to use that for inspiration as well. Whenever you get finished with our 2 projects that we started last time and we finished today, don't forget to come on in to our slides again and go to the Hall of Fame. Whoop, you can't see me right now, can you? Here I am. There we go. So right there into the Hall of Fame. And when I click on that, it takes me into the Hall of Fame for this month. It takes just a few seconds to get your artwork up in here. And you can see other students have been doing that already. So great to see this. Oh my goodness, I love it. So you're just going to find an open frame and you're going to claim your frame by putting your name down below here. And then it's as simple as going up here to Insert, Image, choose Camera, and you just take a picture right with your Chromebook camera. Bloop, it plops it right on in, and you're famous! Congratulations! And don't forget, artwork that is in our Halls of Fame might also end up in our end of the year art show. I cannot wait to see all you've created this week. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you next time.